Chatter. We're back.
If it can't start here, then when will it start?
If it can't start here, then
When will it start?
Like we're picking up, trying to go with my heart to another land. Trying to make it to Japan. I want to play for fans.
I did go to Japan. Shouts out to Japan, dude.
Shout out to Japan.
Hope y'all are doing well. Heard they're canceling anybody coming into the country, or there's
Are they really?
no travel. Even though they wanted to get it going, they wanted to do like a program to get foreigners back over there.
That was a recent decision?
Yeah. I think it said for like 2 weeks or something. They're not going to allow anyone
I didn't
in.
think they were allowing anyone in anyways. It shows you how much I've been following.
Yeah. I mean, their government handled it well, you know. So, countries like that, I feel.
Oh, you're talking about Japan.
Yes.
Oh, I'm yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Merry-
What's happening,
Merry
man?
Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hey.
Woo! Yeah. And a Happy New Year if we don't talk to you, you filthy animals.
Was
With that.
Yeah, we just lost everybody that's going to listen to
They just turned it off. Oh, fuck. It's going to be one of these shows.
Oh, yeah. Those commercials, man, was
Dude.
At the time, they were funny, especially when
Yeah.
you're 12.
Yeah,
but-
there wasn't memes. That was the meme. You'd see
Yeah.
people and you'd say, with that.
With that. What that?
Yeah, it wasn't, oh my God, fucking let me send you this meme. It was, with that.
And then it was like, who let the dogs out?
Yeah.
And it kept,
Oh, fuck, man. Who let the dogs out got old quick, though.
Yeah, I worked at Fenway Park for a while.
Oh, no.
And every, 10 minutes, there'd be a group of 40-year-old men drinking beer.
Good Lord.
One of them screaming, "Who let the dogs out?" And
Really?
the other four would go, "Woo, woo, woo, woo."
It was like they planned it out. They're like, guys, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
We can't play high school football anymore, but we can do this.
Exactly.
That was a shot. I did play. Just so everybody knows, I did play high school football.
Did you really?
Yeah, definitely got a couple concussions too. They were. I was abused, dude. They would put me versus like the senior, like 300-pound lineman. They'd be like, "Go and hit him, you son of a bitch!" My coach's voice was always like that. He was like, "Get in there and hit him, you crazy son of a bitch!" And I just fucking run full speed.
What school? CM?
CM.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then I remember I got a concussion one summer and it was hot as fuck. And when you get a concussion, you get extra hot. And I don't know if it's because it was 100 degrees and we were playing football in the middle of the summer. But I can remember just laying there like, holy fuck. I feel like kind of like euphoric, you know? Like somebody just blasted me to another dimension.
I know that feeling, man.
I
played football too. I played. I believe I only played up to JV, but we played. I think it was Dorchester High.
Yeah.
And they didn't have a big enough team, a squad to field a varsity team, I believe, or
Sure.
they just, I forget how it was, but maybe they weren't good enough for a varsity team. They basically didn't have a varsity team, so it was like you had like seniors on the JV team. And me, I'm in 9th grade or something.
Yeah.
And I remember lining up, right? And I'm a big guy,
Yeah.
so I was offensive line.
Sure.
I get
Guard or tackle?
guard?
Okay. Guard.
And
left guard, right guard?
Usually a left guard.
Left guard. All right. Left guard's
All right,
in here. You know what I
shout
mean?
out to my left guards.
Yo, they put me in guard for some reason. I don't know why.
Because I'm fat.
The
not
pole drills. They were like, we need you for the pole drills.
Dude, they were like, let's
Know what I
see,
mean?
you're not talented and you're fat. Okay, we'll put you at left guard.
Hey, Fatso, you ever play guard?
So anyways, we're playing this team of like 19-year-old kids. They were, these two big black kids on the other side. They, on the defensive end. Sorry. They looked at me and they knew I was toast.
Yeah.
And they were like 19 years old because they were seniors and for some reason playing a JV team.
Sure.
They looked at me and they said to each other, "We're gonna fuck this white boy up."
Damn.
Every,
heard him say it?
every play.
You heard him?
Oh yeah, no, they were
Oh,
saying it so
wow.
I could hear him.
Oh,
Like it was like it was torture because
Yeah.
not only did they murder me,
Yeah.
but I had to hear about it,
Uh-huh.
and they were calling me a pussy.
Yeah.
Made me tougher.
It did. You can say whatever you want about football. Yeah. Did we lose some years of our lives? Probably. Yeah. Maybe. Did we lose some use of our joints? Some brain function? Possibly. We don't know for sure. We know that when people are younger and they suffer any sort of head trauma, it affects them for the rest of their lives a lot of the time. But hey, it makes you tough, right?
Makes you tough.
You know what it did for me that was positive? I could remember being fat like you
Yep.
and wanting to
Fat like me right now. 'Cause
Sorry,
you pointed at me like
No, I was like
almost like
pointing
towards-
at the old you.
but you were like at my stomach.
Yeah. Oh no, okay.
yeah.
I didn't mean to angle the point down at your
Because I've been
stomach.
losing weight.
No, you look good, dude.
Yeah, and I'd fuck you up too.
So I was like, I'm sick of being fat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do something about it. My answer was Dance Dance Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
Slim Fast, and football. This combination of things changed my body.
Are you one of those kids that would just get busy on the Dance Dance
Oh
Revolution?
my God.
By
Me
the way,
and my
wait,
buddy Chris would go to Ryan's Family Amusements. If anybody remembers that relic, it was under Fenway Park.
Yep.
And we would have a fucking handful of quarters, dude, sweating.
Mm-hmm.
We had towels because we would sweat so much. People would stand there like, oh my God.
Bet you got a lot of girls then.
A
Huh?
lot of girls. It was hard to keep the girls away.
Yeah. But this is a perfect setup for the theme of this week's show,
Oh my
which
gosh.
is video games.
Video games. I've been waiting for this one, folks.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk through a millennial journey through video games,
Are we in The Sims?
and then get to the point that maybe we are in a video game, which is called the simulation theory.
Simulation.
Dun, 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 dun. Those 8-bit like music.
What a
And
setup.
when you fall. But yeah, dude, I don't, so we might be on a different wavelength when it comes to video games because I had a little bit of a head start, being that I'm 5 years older.
Yeah.
So I remember Atari
Wow, head start. Okay.
and video game. Just
Yeah.
me, not saying like talent wise, like I
Okay.
suck at video games.
Oh, okay,
Head
okay.
started into this conversation.
I was about to say, damn, coming in fucking hot.
Oh, no.
Insulting my game, dude.
No, dude.
I clutched a Warzone win last night.
Did you?
Me versus 3 people. My
Damn.
buddies were all dead.
Damn.
And I fucking killed all 3 of them to win.
There you go.
That means I'm fucking cool these days. If
Yeah.
you can do something like that,
Yeah.
you're pretty fucking cool.
Call of Duty.
By the internet standards.
That's Call
I
of
might
Duty,
not
right?
be cool any other time,
Definitely
but
not.
when I get those kills, baby, and the folks are watching and they say, "Yeah, you did it, Vicious."
Do you remember Atari? Was that even on your radar? Or you just remember hearing about it?
I suppose I remember hearing about it, but I think it was just before my time.
It was, for me, it was one of those things where I knew about it, and you may have had a friend or two that had it, but mostly it's your uncle or somebody that had it because they were 13,
Yeah.
14 years old. And I just remember how basic it was. The games were, it was, what's ping pong, right?
Do you remember how much it cost?
I don't remember any of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a lot?
I don't know. I guess it's something a kid doesn't remember.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious though. Right now,
I bet
my
it was-
guess was like $60.
Yeah,
Right.
but $60 back then was what? You
3
know?
million.
Right.
Fred
But yeah, dude,
Flintstone.
Atari. They had what's that? What's the famous game?
Pong.
Not this Pong, but that's the Space Invaders.
Oh, Space Invaders was dope.
yeah,
That was the first one to really take off.
yeah,
And then they had competitions with it. They had people that would spend, whole days straight trying to get the high scores. And it was a very...
yeah. They had like a gaming convention around that game, right?
They
I
did.
saw a full thing on this guy that was the best video
Yeah.
Best Space Invaders game ever.
Play for like 13 hours straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've grown up with gaming. You know, it's been part of my life, and
Well, where did you start though?
I started on Nintendo,
Okay, like the real original. Nintendo.
original Nintendo,
Yep, me too.
and I could remember having to blow into the cartridge, fucking,
Yep.
you know, wiping it with your shirt, giving it the hot air,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and then the wipe with the cotton.
Yep.
Maybe getting a swab with the alcohol on it. If you really had to go that far, you didn't want to overdo it.
Sometimes you'd have to flip the thing open, right?
Oh yeah,
Flip and then blow it. You could blow
Yeah.
into the console.
blow
too.
into it itself.
Yeah, that's if you want to get real funky with it. You could,
And then there was a trick also. You know how you had to push
Bro,
it down?
I know exactly. Just
You
from
had
what,
to
just
just-
from your hand
just
movement
the-
alone, I know what you're talking
I
about.
did it. Just a light push so that it's barely in there, right?
Yeah, but you almost put it on the ledge first.
Yeah,
right? You
yeah.
put it on the ledge first
Yep.
and let it down.
Shit.
These kids don't know. They just fucking turn on the PlayStation.
Mom, my Cyberpunk isn't working. It keeps
Where's
closing.
the Wi-Fi's off, Dad?
Mom, this isn't rendering well. Can you get me a PS5?
And I'm like, dude, you have no idea the struggle. We had to spit on our games for them to work. We literally had to spit on our games.
Yeah. Imagine someone hawking a loogie into their PS5.
We basically were. You'd put your mouth on the Nintendo cartridge and just like a piece, like it's a piece of corn going left to right.
Yeah, what do we
Blowing
think?
it.
What do we think they were? Accordions? I mean, what? No, harmonicas.
Harmonicas,
Dude,
Yeah.
imagine if they had an accordion that also had a harmonica attached to it. Harmonica. Harmonica. Why am I calling it that?
I'm sure it exists.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Nintendo definitely changed things. They became this Mario. They became the central character. You know, like a icon. Quickly, because
Quickly.
things we get all that shit from Japan. Everybody, by the way, if anybody knows anything that people are fucking interested, is mostly inspired by things that come
Yep.
from Japan.
Fashion
in
too,
that
but
world.
definitely tech.
Yeah. Tech's big major game over there. And if you think we were crazy about Nintendo, they were insane about Nintendo in Japan. It literally hit the ground running at 1,000 miles an hour. And then what? They came out with the Game Boy years and years later. This was
Yep. It was maybe 3-4 years. That might have been a late '80s thing, whereas
Yeah.
I think Nintendo came out like '86. But,
Yep.
But yeah, man, those are some classic.
changed the game
games.
again with their next system. Game Boy,
what
a
was
system
your-
you can walk around with.
Yep. It was terrible graphics though. It was way worse. It was. Remember the first one had like a greenish film over it,
Yeah.
and the only like really good
just
game on
black.
that was Tetris because.
Yeah.
You don't need great graphics for Tetris. And actually, Sean Rogan, he's right here. He put a fist up
I
in
know
the
he
air.
loves Tetris.
I lived with Rogan for 3 years, and him and Chris Bush would just sit there and play for hours. He's actually really, really good at it, too.
I can tell by Sean's face that it was an extremely fond memory.
Oh, yeah.
Just by his face.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in. I
Yeah.
can just jump in your podcast.
Yeah, you can.
Gonna have to probably speak loud.
Hello, check.
Yeah.
It's Sean P. Rogan sitting in. Yeah, I have the green Game Boy.
Do you?
We have the old school NES set up in our living room.
Yep.
My kids play Tetris.
Yep.
The vocal room here is Tetris room.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm making a social commitment right now to get a Tetris tattoo.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's great.
Why wouldn't you?
Let's get matching Tetris tattoos.
You guys want to get Tetris tattoos?
Yeah.
I told my wife my first tattoo would maybe it'll spell her name inside the
Jill.
Tetris.
Oh wait, does she know already? Oh shit, she's gonna know. Won't be a
Let's get
surprise.
matching Tetris tattoos.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
down.
Say elephant.
I'm gonna be hesitant to agree on the record, just because I only have Japanese tattoos on me right now.
It's a Japanese game.
It is a Japanese
got
game.
Him. Got him.
Wait, was it? I thought it was
Yeah. It's I don't know I can't remember the name, but it's a Japanese last name.
Oh, okay. Was it? Did it start with a Y? The name?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever. We're getting off track. Games. massive to me.
What was your favorite Nintendo game?
You know what? It was probably something unusual.
Me
I
too.
liked Battletoads a lot.
Okay.
I liked Streets of Rage. Oh, wait,
Oh.
that wasn't on Nintendo.
That might have been Nintendo 64.
That was Genesis. That was Genesis.
Okay.
Dude, you know what I liked? Fucking Aladdin, bro.
Aladdin.
Aladdin was a sleeper good game on
I
Nintendo.
believe it. And you want to know why I believe it? Is because one of my favorite games ever is DuckTales.
Oh, was that on Genesis?
Hold on. DuckTales.
Yeah.
Did you ever play
that was a
DuckTales?
great game.
Great fucking
Great
game.
when
man.
it worked.
Well, that's your system.
Yeah.
You just said that broadly, like everyone's was broken.
DuckTales, DuckTales, DuckTales.
He dives in the he dives in all the coins. But that surprisingly, surprisingly that was
Thought you were
a
gonna get
fire
the
fire game.
Ah, fuck. It was a fire game.
Fire.
Scrooge. Shouts out to Scrooge. So I don't. Was it Scrooge? I found this out about, but he was maybe in the Navy when he went to World War II, or was that it was?
Scrooge McDuck.
It might have been Scrooge, or it might have just been Daffy. No, not Daffy Duck.
Donald Duck?
What was the white duck? With
Donald.
Donald. It might have been Donald Duck, that he'd gone to the war, the Second World War, and he didn't want to be boastful
Like
about it.
fictionally, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, did Donald Duck actually go to the war or not?
I mean, he's a cartoon character, so he could have. I mean, somebody could have drawn him over there, you know, like on the map.
I'm sure it exists.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know where I saw that. Sega Genesis, dude.
That was
Are you
so-
serious? This Sega Genesis might have been. I might have been more of a fan of Genesis than Nintendo.
Well, of course, because here's the reason why is because you're a little younger.
Mm.
So you probably caught the tail end of Nintendo, where you didn't have the nostalgia that we did maybe 5 years earlier of like
Are they
playing-
coming out?
of it coming out
Yeah.
and, and you getting it was the biggest deal.
Yeah,
So
you were the coolest
when
kid.
when Sega came out, that was my first Christmas disappointment, and I'm gonna sound like
Shit.
I'm gonna sound like such a fucking baby here, such an entitled little prick. But one year I just really wanted the Sega, and I was convinced, and it's all I asked for, and I didn't get it.
Dude,
It's kind of like my son this year with PS5.
he wanted a PS5.
Yeah, and
Really?
I told him.
Did he
"Look,
realize how much they are?
Well, the retail price is $500. That's not out of the question for.
No, that's
Christmas gift.
okay?
That's okay. And,
okay.
and that's okay.
All right.
But the problem is you couldn't find one. I know you were lucky to snag one.
Yeah.
But
I
they
had
were.
I got a whole story for how I actually got it.
I want to hear it. But-
Later, maybe.
Later. But I don't want to spend $1,200 on a PlayStation game, on a PlayStation console, when in 2 months it's going to be back down to $500.
No.
So I didn't
Some of
want
them are
to.
selling for $1,800, $2
Yeah,
grand.
I'm not gonna pay an after price for that. So, yeah,
I'll pay some interest
So-
on my credit card though. That's for damn sure.
yeah, Sega, man, that was my first time. I was so disappointed. But when I did get it,
Yeah.
I had that feeling of. I remember waking up the next morning. So I got it for I think my birthday the next year. Went to bed late. Woke up. I went to bed late because it was some sort of party or something.
Yeah.
So I went to bed maybe 11 o'clock, and then I woke up around 4:30 a.m. So excited just to run downstairs,
Sure.
throw in that Sega.
You
play some
remember it?
Sonic the Hedgehog. I remember that morning. I just remember being so happy.
Wow.
Sonic the Hedgehog, that was like the Mario of Sega. You know?
When I think of Christmas at that age, I guess all I remember is that not being able to sleep and waking up so early that it was still dark and like seeing the lights down there just perfectly lit up in the dark, and then all of a sudden all those presents are under the tree. It's like magic happened.
Yep.
You know, it was a magic trick.
It's the best.
Sorry to
best
ruin
feeling.
it for everybody else, but Santa's a magician.
Isn't it fucked up that we were just talking about this before you got here?
Yeah.
About it's the biggest lie. It's like one of the biggest lies ever. We're just lying to our kids.
Yeah, we should We should.
So that's why when I told my wife, I'm like, if any of my kids ever ask me, I don't care if they're 8, 9, I'm going to tell them the truth.
Oh, really?
Because it means
Right when they ask.
it means they're curious about it, and I want
Yeah.
them to trust me.
Yeah.
That I'm
and
not
have
gonna
some
lie to them.
respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're intelligent enough to figure it out. All right, I'm going to tell you.
Now, sit here, young boy of mine.
Luckily,
I'm going to clue you in today.
luckily, they don't really figure out until 8 or 9.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's weird with that whole thing because it's like people want to be honest with their kids. I want to be honest. I don't want to keep anything from you, honey. But there is a man that wears a large suit, and he is going to come down our chimney. Mom, we don't have a chimney. He's a magician, honey. He can get down here with those presents in a jiffy.
Why did David get a PlayStation and I didn't? He was a better boy than you.
You remember what you did 2 weeks ago? Yeah. Well, the elves were outside.
Not only that, not only is a scary man going to come down your chimney, now there's a little elf that was just discovered 12 years ago
Oh, no.
that's going to visit your house every single day and have a message for you. And he's
Yikes.
watching you Actually, do you know
It's
what,
too
though?
labor intensive.
As a parent, the elf is the best thing that month. You can get your
Oh,
kids to do
manipulate
anything.
them terribly with
Manipulate
it.
the fuck out of them. I swear to God, dude. It is.
You almost need it, right? Isn't it weird?
The shitty thing is, most people I talk to, and it definitely happened in my family, you forget to move it. And
Yeah.
you have to explain your kid the next day. Why is he in the same place? I don't know. You must have done something bad yesterday. He's going to stay in the same place and see if you're going
Yeah.
to make the same mistake
Yeah.
today.
Damn.
God, we
it's
just lying to our
Kids
kids,
can
dude.
be bad every day, can't they?
Yeah.
Because they just don't understand the way the world works.
Yeah, it's all. You can also use it as like bribery and corruption as well for your kids. You know, if you're
Damn,
like,
bro.
I really
It's
need
going,
you.
It's going down.
I
at the-
really need you to take a bath. I really need you to do it.
Yeah.
And then if you do take the bath, then I'm gonna tell the elf that you were a good boy
Mm-hmm.
and that he's gonna fly back to Santa Claus tonight.
And they're like, really? Yep. I'm going to talk to him. Okay. I'm going to call him. But you
Yeah.
can't listen. You have to go to bed. Okay. Fucking liars. Keep lying to your kids. Sega Genesis. Was GameCube really the next thing?
I don't know. I put them. I put
We
it up on the
glazed over
list.
Sega Genesis, by the way. I could talk about Genesis for a while.
Yeah, that was. I mean,
But-
that's when sports games really took off
yeah.
for me. NHL, Madden.
Bro, what was that one? What was the football game? It might have been on Nintendo.
Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo Bowl.
Really
Yeah,
good.
that was it.
That was really good too.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Sega Genesis is where I logged out because there was too many buttons.
Too many buttons.
Yeah.
What? How many buttons? Wasn't there only?
I want.
There
I want
was
the NES
two?
button.
Rather than A and B, there were A, B, and C.
Oh, there were 3.
There were 3
Okay.
buttons, and there might have been a start and select button in a kind of
Well,
different
there's start
spot.
and select on the NES, but
Yeah.
it was just like I couldn't get into it. 'cause
Yeah.
There was nothing better than Tetris. And
Yeah,
I still feel the exact same way.
yeah,
If I'm gonna play any video game, which is rare, it's gonna be Tetris.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best game.
Well, it just got a hold of you. You know, some of them get their claws into you.
Well, and that one too, I think it's fitting because you're a musician and you're using your brain in almost a different way, where you're almost seeing notes in your head, and it kind of. So I feel like super creative people are really good at Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
I could just be making that up, but
I'm really good at Tetris.
yeah, you're really good. I've seen you play. I've seen you and Chris Bush play.
Dan Stoppelman. Nah.
I think it's a spatial intelligence thing.
It is. It's loading the trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Thanks
guys
for
that are
being
like,
on your show.
yeah, no problem. Our first guest, Sean P.
Yay!
Rogan.
It's actually fitting.
I was wondering when you were gonna ask me to be on. Your
Well,
Oh,
I,
shit.
I wish we
We were supposed to have our first
show.
guest today.
He'll hear me.
Okay.
We were supposed to have our first guest today, but maybe we'll have him come next time.
Who?
Who?
We're not going to tell anybody.
Oh, okay.
It's a complete surprise.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My brother goes, it's not a fucking good one, is it? He's like, he's on the show way too fucking much. You guys talk about him too much.
You want me to talk about Bob? Let's just talk about you. All the remaining balance. We're gonna scrap our whole talk here. No, we're definitely not gonna do that. That's how we're gonna lose listeners.
Yeah, I got a Christmas story about. I went over there on Christmas Eve.
Let's hear it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right now.
Right now.
Wow, dude. Yeah. So we were gonna go get Chinese food with my dad and Rob's fiance, and like, you know, you would kind of think we can go out and get Chinese food on Christmas Eve. Like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if you weren't thinking that we're in the middle of a pandemic, which, you know, should be on your mind, right? Mm-hmm. And I get to Rob's house and I'm like, so you have a place in mind? Do you know that they're taking people inside? Mm-hmm. Blah, blah. He's like, oh, I'm sure they are. And I'm like, I'm going to call and check. He's like, oh, you don't need to call. I'm sure of it. And I'm like, I'm going to call anyways. I don't even have that conversation. I just pick up the phone and call. Yeah. And it's like, first thing, it's like busy. Then it's like a voicemail. And then ultimately, Kirsten gets through and she reaches someone and they tell her to hold and then just never come back. So we never had a direct line. We're like, fuck it, we're just gonna go. Everybody gets in the car. You know, we go over there. We stand in a line that's going around the block. Me, my dad, my brother, and Kirsten, and he just keeps bringing up line talk. He said, "You guys used to talk about line talk all the time."
Yes,
because I was just talking.
You'd stand in a bar and be like, "Oh, well, this line is long. Line talk."
I hate that shit.
You just say the word line talk over and over.
I hate it when it's only about the line, right? Talk about something else.
No, but we would. So we talk about something else, and then when we like laugh about it, we go line talk. So
that's what he kept doing. He went, line talk.
Line talk. Yeah.
Fucking asshole. And then we're waiting in line. This drunk white guy with a Santa hat comes. Might have been Santa Claus. He's like cutting through people in line, and then, oh, what's going on here? Fucking people don't want to let him through, but he's going anyways. And when he gets to the front, he's like, I don't know what's going on. I got kicked out of the front. And we're like, all right. He's like, fuck it, I'm going to try again. Goes right back to the front. Then I'm like, so what happened? You know? Nobody wants to talk for some reason. Nobody wants to communicate with other human beings that are just feet away from them. Who knows why? We're this creature, you know.
We're in the middle of a pandemic, so that might be it. But
they can't even talk to you, I guess. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I can't even figure it out. So I'm like, fuck this, dude. We've been waiting for like 30 minutes. I go in there, like people are looking at me with their arms crossed. Oh, dare you go in front of me? Because we thought we could go in and sit down. Turns out this whole line was just to pick up food. And then there was a rotary inside the place, another line that was like snaking across the other room. And I'm like, fuck this.
So there was one line to order and the other line to pick up?
No line to order. It was just all one line. Oh. So my brother's all ticked off because he was wrong. And he's fucking...
Wait. He was what?
You ticked off.
Wait, he was what?
Ticked
off. No, what was the other word?
Wrong.
Oh, he was wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Rob Lacola was wrong?
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of such a thing, so I was just like...
Yeah, no, of course, and you know how he is. So I know how to...
Love you, Bob.
Yeah, I just like, I got to take it and then just flip it. You know, that's my deal. and so we're driving and they're like bickering and it's like, I'm like, guys, we have to get food, okay? It's 7:45, 8. It's unlikely we're going to be seated anywhere, okay? Let's pick up some food. We're right next to this place. I don't know what to get. What do you want? I'm like, no. I'm walking in. I'm ordering food. And you text me right when I get in. And I'm talking to the guy. Rob tried going in at first and having a conversation with the guy. And he said like one or two words got exchanged and he ended up walking out and like yelling at someone. I'm like, bro, what is going on, dude? He's like, why don't you go in there? You're better with the Asians. I'm like, damn,
What
dude.
does that
I'm like,
even-
bro, what happened in
Yeah.
there? You know, it's Christmas Eve, dude. And so I go in there.
Was he trying to diffuse something?
I think he was trying to get us a seat because there was like 4 people seated inside, but they were clearly done seating people. So yeah, we're kind of ousting him right now. But he said talk about it. He did say talk about it. So I don't give a shit. All right.
The fact that anyone would think him going in to like smooth out a situation or get anything like resolved. It's just
Dude, it was hilarious. And
he always comes out
Yeah.
whatever it is. He comes back
Yeah.
out shaking his head, mumbling.
oh, I was fucking walking away. Dude, I got a poo-poo platter for 4, right? Don't ever underestimate the size of a poo-poo platter for 4. It is large,
Yeah.
okay? We got, what's it called? Orange chicken, General Gao.
That's my shit.
Shrimp, beef fried rice as well. You know, I know what to get.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
They're like, well, we don't know what they have. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Every single American Chinese restaurant.
Yeah. Let me look at the menu.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no. Just say what you want. If you don't know what fucking combination it is, just say, yeah, could I have rice with beef and chicken?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, they'll say yeah. Okay? Sick of this line phobia, sick of this talking to people phobia.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Okay? I used to order for one of my friends when I was a kid
Yeah.
because he couldn't walk up to somebody and place an order at an establishment. I'm like, why, dude? And you know why it probably was? He wasn't given the confidence.
I had this talk with my son the other day. I'm like, you go in and order him. He's like, no, I don't want to. I'm like, why? I'm like, what are you not going to be able to talk?
Yeah.
I get it though.
Do you?
Scott. It
was like
wasn't
that?
until high school he wouldn't want to order anything.
Shell up in the line.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just don't
Yeah,
order.
yeah.
What are you talking about? Yeah, just order.
Yeah, just
no,
order.
Can you
Just
just get me this candy bar? He gives you the money. It's like, all right, man. Like, you realize they do it every single place? Like, I went into McDonald's once and I ordered a large pizza. We were in a big group of people. And that was one of the things I like to do. I used to like to go into places that obviously didn't have the things I was asking for and like quite confidently ask them for it.
Yep.
So like,
We talked about this on another podcast.
Did
by the
we?
way. Yeah.
On
we
this
said,
one?
can I have
Oh, all right.
You'd go up to McDonald's
to
and
love
say,
that.
can I have pizza?
could I have a large pizza? And then you're like already reaching for your wallet.
Yeah.
You know, you drop
Yeah.
eye contact and they do that slight, yeah, we don't.
Remember, because then I said, actually, they do sell pizza at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
In Canada.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember it. Fuck, we're getting off track.
We're talking in
We're getting
circles
off
here.
track. Folks, can we say this? If you're one of the listeners out there, we fucking love you, okay? We really fucking love you, and we really need you, and you're very important to this show, okay? I just want to make sure everybody knows that. I think about anybody that tells me they listen, and I'm really grateful. So I just wanted to say that on the air, that I'm very thankful if you've told anybody about the show and if you've, shared the link with a friend or even just enjoyed it yourself. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Mary Chrysler.
Where do we go next? Nintendo?
So
64?
Nintendo 64 was my shit, dude.
Oh, GameCube. We can kind of skip
yeah,
GameCube.
yeah. I just brought it up because I remember
GameCube
it.
was
It wasn't
after
that,
64.
I think it went extinct.
It was after 64.
Yes.
64 was no doubt the impact that N64 had was all because of a room full of kids together playing a game.
Yep.
So having those 4 ports in the front, the 4 controller,
Exactly.
all of a sudden it turned into a 4 party.
I forgot
and
about
you
that.
weren't
Was
going to
like
invite Jimmy because he was the loser,
Yep.
right? You only had 4 spots.
And that was the first console that could have more than 2, right?
Yep.
Wow, I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, that was a huge deal, and especially games like 007.
Oh my god.
Remember that? Where you could
Yeah. Spend weeks, months.
wouldn't there be 4 different
Yeah.
windows?
Split
and,
screen,
yep.
multiplayer.
Kind of, basically paved the way for games like Call of Duty and all
Yep.
that. So,
And then if you were to go back and actually try to play it, it's complete dog shit.
is it?
Oh yeah.
I haven't
You have
tried.
you ought to just leave it as a memory.
Right.
Because if you're like, I have a PS5,
Yeah.
you know, going
Flex.
looking
by the way.
at that.
That was a flex. That was a flex.
Hey, dude, I got it on my credit card,
Yeah.
okay? I need to get paid on this podcast, man. My brother's like, why don't you get a sponsor? I'm like, bro, we're not going to get a sponsor with
Yeah.
the amount of people that listen. Are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
He's like, if you try, you will. No, that's not it. What we need is people to find out about
That's
the show.
not how business
Yeah,
works.
get a
Bob.
group of people together, and then I'm sure they wouldn't give a shit if we had an advertisement where it was like, do you need soap? Well, this is the right podcast to listen to, because I always just fast forward through all that shit anyways.
We have 40 listeners. We need 40,000 listeners for that to happen.
It's all right. We're building. We're building, right? It takes time.
We're building.
And I like this. This is very positive for me. Like, I recorded some hip hop tracks the other few weeks ago, and
Okay.
I listened to them, and as a creative person, it's a really weird weird world to live in, because I was thinking about this. A creative person tends to draw from what's around them. So the times affect you. I often look for inspiration in normal things that I might walk by or that I see, or maybe a way somebody's acted, or like something poignant someone said and it kind of resonates. So I think creative people are in a weird place. So I had one recommendation for a creative person. If you feel like you're in a rut and like you're not valuable or whatever it is, make something and then listen to it and allow yourself to just enjoy it. And don't scrutinize yourself and don't put yourself through a ringer. Create something and say, I'm glad I did that. That makes me feel good. I don't need to be hypercritical of the verse or the way I said this word or you know what I mean? It's just, it was a nice thing for me. And I thought maybe it could help someone that's maybe in that.
For sure.
Where do we go from here? 64? I mean, NWO versus WCW versus the world, whatever it was called. We'd play the shit out of that wrestling game.
I don't remember that. But it's interesting
Super
that
Mario
that
64.
that was really the 4-person. And then the next upgrade was really all about just the graphics.
Yeah.
Right? Where
Yep.
I think the first PlayStation, you couldn't go online with that yet, right?
Not the first PlayStation. PS2 was the beginning of that. And they
Right.
had
But the big upgrade from PlayStation from Nintendo 64 was just purely graphics, right?
the disc. I mean, the presentation of it was futuristic almost. You felt when you were pulling that disc out of the thing and putting it in your place, and you were real careful, like
Yep.
kind of getting it. And then you hear it, woo, like whir
Yep.
up.
Yep.
And slapped the mic. And the symbol coming on the screen. I don't know. I think that's honestly a lot of it is how they package it
Yeah.
in the presentation.
Right.
And as a salesperson, I'm sure you understand that.
Totally.
What you're delivering is in a package. People want the package. They want to be sold, whether they know it or not. If they're presented with something that they like, they're way more inclined to buy it.
Well, I think that's a huge feather in the cap for somebody like Apple. That is how the packaging, not even just the actual programs,
Yeah.
which are simple and easy. The packaging, you open something from Apple, and I know you're not an Apple guy, but it is the presentation of it. It's clean.
Yeah.
It's all white.
Yeah,
It
I'll
looks
admit that.
futuristic.
I'll admit
really
that.
good packaging, and then even
They're where they are because of their presentation.
and they're simple.
Yeah.
You turn your computer on,
Streamlined.
it's on. There's no like, on a
Yeah.
PC when you turn it on, there's all these
Sure.
lines and shit that come up first. But
Wait, a bunch of lines?
like the
I don't know if
computing
that still
lines.
happens.
It
does
doesn't anymore.
Okay.
But that's
It's
what
like
when, no,
1999.
but that was like one. Yeah, but when Macs became big, it was
Yeah.
because you turn it on, and it was just you wouldn't
Yeah.
have to see all
The
these
initial
things
difference.
loading. It was just there,
Sure.
very clean.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. Even though I'm an Apple hater, I mean, my reasons are kind of outside of that. It's not really about the aesthetic for me. It's more But we won't get into that.
Yeah, because I have counterpoints that'll go right back at
Oh,
you. But
yeah.
that can
Yeah,
be.
we can save that one.
Yeah.
Apple versus
We've had this conversation.
Apple versus Google.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking what else, dude? I don't think we're gonna have to split this up because
No, we
there's a bunch of stuff that I even want to talk about World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because I think I'd really like to give my perspective on it.
Yeah, let's talk about that now because we just talked about basically all the consoles up until PS2. PS2 was really
Yeah,
the
we
first
didn't
time
really
you
talk about PlayStation even. Just the JRPGs. Do you know what a JRPG is?
No.
It's a Japanese role-playing game.
Okay.
So RPGs is usually a category of game. JRPG is specific to Japan.
Okay.
There were a lot of JRPGs on PlayStation 1.
Okay.
And that was, so when those games started being introduced to me, I started thinking, this is the depth that I want. I want to be walking around with my character. I want to be meeting people, seeing the funny things they say, or, you know, getting a party together and you have your mage, you have your warrior, you have your just whatever you have in your party. You level them up. They have equipment, you know, that kind of thing. I like progression. I like story. I like feeling like I'm involved.
And you got really into that, and didn't you make a lot of friends around the country?
I made a lot of friends around the world.
Wow. Yeah.
And it was, at the time, I had to resist quite a bit to live that lifestyle. Was not usually not acceptable to most people.
Just playing games all day.
Yeah, they would think that you're like odd.
Yeah.
If you were.
But in that world, in that game in particular, you
were a god.
You became, what you told me is that you became quite popular with, and we're almost like this virtual leader of a group.
That's exactly what it was. It's a whole part of my life that if you weren't there, nobody would know.
Yep.
And I feel like an exclusive, like, I don't want this to come off douchebaggy. I like having exclusive interactions to my life, if that makes sense. Like, I like having special things that are just for my life, which I'm sure everybody does. But, like, I like unique scenarios.
Yep.
If that makes sense. And I'm not trying to sound like all I do is exclusive shit. That is not true at all. So, yeah, I could remember my life was like kind of shitty. You know, stuff was starting to fall apart in my life when, without getting into that, because I'm not going to. But I remember playing it at my friend Mike's house, and he was like, "Yeah, it's some free trial," and I'd sit there, and then they would go outside and smoke or, you know, watch whatever, and I'd still be in the computer room playing the game. He'd be like, "Oh, you're still playing that shit? Like, you really like that?" It's like, yeah, I do really like this, and I'm trying to strategize in my head how I'm going to get this at my house,
right?
You know, and then be able to pay for the subscription because there was a monthly subscription. So, anyways, yeah, I get into the game. It's you make your character, you go into a world. Okay, it's like a fresh slate.
Yep.
Name your character. Everything you get from here on is because of what it's like life.
Yep.
Except
the simulated
in a
version
fantasy world where more than you could imagine can happen. And I loved that. I loved that my life wasn't going well. So I almost made it that this world was like my escape.
Yep.
Exclusively.
Yep.
And I was going to be the man in this world because I didn't have to deal with the things that came along with those real life interactions, the preconceived notions, the chain of command, the status level, it was all out of the equation.
Yeah, you could really start fresh.
You could really start fresh.
Slate.
And everybody's a person. You just send them a message. They're a person.
Is the game an actual, are you trying to beat something too? Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah. So
there's a game
originally,
involved.
yeah. You go to dungeons, you level up, you get better gear, you get new skills.
By the way, this is World of Warcraft?
World of Warcraft.
Okay. Obviously, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
But I've never played it.
Before this, I played Final Fantasy XI, and that was an online game that I'm also very fond of, but I could go on about that game. And
Yeah.
I don't even know if people are going to be interested in this, but
I'm actually interested.
I want to get it out because it's something that's near and dear to my heart, and I feel like very passionate about it. So yeah, I mean, you go and you level up, start doing all this cool stuff. You go fight these bosses together, then you're teamed up with 5 people, then you're
Yep.
teamed up with 10 people. Then you're teamed up with 20 people and you're invading a town of other players. It's lagging like crazy, but you're killing all these lower level players.
And are you like talking over a microphone, or
So,
is it all like typed?
It's funny because this took course over the past of 5 or 6 years,
Yeah.
mind you. I didn't start the way it finished. You know, there was phases to it.
Yep.
It was like my life, you know, more or less. And I don't feel weird saying that because the things I was missing out on, folks, was going out, drinking, doing drugs. And I just wasn't feeling that at the time.
How many hours a day, honestly? And being honest, and don't
Probably 8 to 10.
every single day in this world.
Maybe that's a lot. Maybe 6 to 8.
I mean, maybe.
But there was probably some days. So, like on Final Fantasy XI, there was a boss that you had to make a 14-hour commitment to fight
Wow.
because you'd have to start the fight with each different person so that you could each get your own item from it. And you could only get that item committing to fighting that boss with a group of like 30 people or something. So when you had that hat on, you know what I'm saying? You went through that day, and it was called an optical hat. I remember what it was called. It was on my Samurai in Final Fantasy XI. I was on the server Siren, and you'd walk around, and that hat would look badass, dude. And people would see you, and they'd be like, holy shit, where'd you get that? You'd be like, well, this is what I did, and you tell them. And then that's their first.
You still didn't answer me. Is this over a microphone or
Oh,
are
okay.
you
So
chatting?
Ventrilo was something never on a microphone on Final Fantasy. On
Okay.
World of Warcraft, there was a service called Ventrilo, which was kind of like this day's Discord, except very stripped down. It was just talking. There was no other. So all of a sudden, let's fast forward, okay? Because it's taken me a while. You can obviously tell I care about. So like I get into this guild, the House or something. They're one of the best guilds on the server. And before that, though, I was sponsored by the people that I first got into groups with in that first guild. I was top of the damage meter. So you do these raids, 40 people. Okay,
Yep.
You have 40 people going into a dungeon, coordinating your attack and getting your objective of killing everything in there, you know, in a time frame or whatever. And they were like, my name was Vicious on there too. And they're like Vicious, didn't you say you have an integrated graphics card on your computer? We're wondering how you're the top of the damage meters with that kind of graphics card, because you tell us you experience massive slowdown.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's true, guys. I do get seconds of lag where my screen's frozen.
Yep.
And they said, we think this is very interesting, and we'd like to send you like a $3,000 computer.
Wow.
And I was like, I didn't understand that at the time. I thought, is this weird? Should I not accept this? Is this like maybe like a test, or
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking at the time. But on the other hand, I was thinking, fuck yeah,
Yeah.
this is what I want. I always wanted to be like a pro gamer in some aspect. So it was like scratching an itch.
What was their purpose for sending you? Was it to really
So that I would be
improve, or
better.
so that you would be better?
So that I would be better. And then I could carry
so these were
the
people,
group a little better.
Oh, these were people within your group. It wasn't like a company.
No, it was a guild. I believe it was called a guild.
Wow.
So they sent me that computer. I was shocked. The thing had lights in it.
Yep.
Had these fans you could see through the side, and this was early on, folks. You did not see computers like this all the time. And then there was these twins in New York. They were like rich. They worked on fucking, high profile stuff, and I can't remember their names, but these guys were fucking hilarious. Okay, they were twins. You could tell that they were twins just through what you would hear in your head, and they thought I was hysterical. And they would fucking anything that was going on. oh, did we invite Vicious? Can we get him in here? I get invited into these chats, and then all of a sudden I was becoming one of the higher ups because I was like the mediator
Yep.
and the comedic relief in these 40-man raids on the microphone. You know, somebody would get in an argument, and I'd say, guys, because it's all about tone and respect. So if somebody has respect for you and you deliver them a very fair message, a lot of the time they won't push back because they respect you. So as a leader, and I would learn these things early, you know, that I can, if they respect me and I'm fair to them, they're going to listen to what I have to say. At least they'll listen and they won't shit on me. So yeah, I became this like a general.
You were the man.
Yeah.
You were the man.
I became this general, and I know it sounds kind of fucking
It doesn't.
masturbatory in a way.
No, but it explains, and again, this podcasting is therapy. But you want to be the man in real life.
I want to. Yeah.
You want to, doesn't mean you want to be I'm not saying you want to be a leader and rich and famous and all that, but you just want to be, you're searching to be respected, and
Sure.
virtually you got that, and that's why you spent 8 to 10 hours a day, because it was so different from what was happening in real life.
Yeah, and those twins, they paid for my subscription for 3 years.
Wow.
That was a $15 a month subscription. So, and they sent me a new monitor, and you'd go on and you'd have friends at any time of the day. You know,
Right.
I'm not going to get into what was going on in my life, but that was a safe place. And the way in my head I was thinking, this isn't hurting me in a terrible way. It's hurting me in a progress way.
Yep.
I already feel behind as is, so it's like there's a lot that goes along with it. It is not all fucking roses and sun and you're in a different world, because you aren't. You're playing a game, and you know that if you're a smart person.
Yeah.
So
you still get hungry. You still have to take
exactly.
a piss.
You're still working at some fucking shit delivery job delivering pizzas.
Yeah.
But that world, I mean, I could go on and on about it, but I did years ago. One of these guys I followed, I found out he wrote a book about this exact thing. So going in, you know, you have friends from Germany, from New York. I had this friend Nard from Australia, this guy from Croatia that bought my account when I finished. I sold my account for $600.
Wow.
Because I knew I needed to quit, and I thought the only way I'm going to quit is selling it, because then it's gone, and I don't have the option, and I know I won't want to restart. I could have at one point gotten $2,000 from my account. I was like the second highest warrior on the server. When I walked around, people knew me. They'd stop you. They'd say, "What's up?" You know, "Oh, where'd you get this piece of armor?" Or, "Wow, your PvP ranking's really that high." PvP means player versus player. That's so.
Don't you wish like Twitch was around then? Because you could,
I would have been.
Dude, you could have made so much bank.
I would have been massive on there. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
And especially, I'm not saying that because I think I'm fucking some virtuoso gamer.
Yeah.
I just think what happened in my life in that time frame was not typical. And then I think it even raised my expectations of what I kind of seek in a way. Like it was fulfilling in a way that it shouldn't be, but it is. And then you got to wonder, why is it fulfilling? So games are very important to me. They were there for me when some things weren't. And I would listen to anybody's opinion on that. And I would be glad to have a back and forth. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking, you know, my son, I struggle with it, right? Because, you know, the whole progress thing that you were talking about.
Yeah.
I struggle with it because I do worry about that with my son playing a lot of video games.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a virtual playground now for
Sure.
him and his friends.
Yeah.
It's
That's where they hang
coronavirus
out.
time. They can't really be together at school. They literally hang out like they're hanging out in a in a playground, but it's virtual and they're killing people.
The voice, you know, some people argue that our voice is who we are. And that's, you know, that delivers 90% of, we convey 90% of what we're trying to get across.
Yeah, so
through
whether
our
you're
voice.
inside or outside, you're saying.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where they are.
I think it's this whole conversation, and we could talk about every other console that comes up, but I think we hit on a point here that, there's been so much evolution, so much technology. It's improved so much from the ping pong game to what you just described, which is living in a virtual world.
Yes.
And so that brings up the simulation theory, which I know kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, but...
Oh, it's not that it makes me feel uncomfortable.
You just don't want it to be real.
No, I just know it's not true.
Let's talk through that.
Okay.
So, first of all, this isn't like a wild conspiracy theory. It's more of a... I don't even know if we could call it a conspiracy. It's more... What would you call it? A theory?
A theory.
Just a theory.
Yeah, a theory.
That some people,
Yeah,
think is true. and there are scientists... There are some of the richest people in the world who believe this, including Elon Musk, who's kind of crazy. But his point, and the point of the simulation theory, and that we're all living in a video game and not realizing it, is that think about the evolution that we've made just in, 30 years?
Sure.
Right? From Atari to PlayStation 5, where you're living in virtual worlds.
Yeah.
That's just 30 years. What happens... Sure. What happens in 100 years? What happens in 500 years? How good are you going to be able to tell the difference?
You're going to be able to put something on your head and lay down in a bed with the mask. That's going to be a whole helmet.
Yep.
And you're going to be able to log in and walk around with your arms and legs and feel like it's really you. Mm-hmm.
But how do you... The point that they're saying is that we're going to be able to make simulations ourselves.
Yeah.
Just like The Sims now.
Sure.
But we're going to make The Sims so advanced that they think they're real. Right?
Yeah.
And
artificial intelligence.
Yeah. And those simulations are going to live simulated for another 100 years.
Yeah.
And they're going to build another simulation. They're going to figure... So it's going to go and go and go, and all these simulations are going to create simulations, right? So the chance... So
you're saying that you believe simulation theory, that simulation's possible in the future?
I think... You
don't think we're in one now?
I personally don't think we are one now, but I'm open to the fact that I don't know anything.
Yeah, sure.
And it's just interesting they think there's a 1 in 15 billion chance that we are the first reality.
Okay.
And that we're the first simulation.
These are the smartest people in the world. They think there's 1 in.
I'll send you links. There's
billion chance.
There's doctors of physics who are
origin of. Now, are they talking about different dimensions or alternate
dimensions? Could be other.
That's different. That I don't think that's a simulation theory. I think that's quantum mechanics and quantum physics. But it's a whole. You know what? What if we do this a 2-part? Next week we continue talking about games.
Okay.
Maybe for half of the show.
Yeah.
I was gonna do a freestyle. You made a beat this week and you sent it to me and you were like, "Can you do something over this?" And then you asked me today, "Do I want to do it on the show?" Not something I would usually do on the show, but fuck it, I want to try it today.
Yeah. So this beat I made. I've been off of work the past week and. It's been nice to reconnect and make some music.
Yeah,
and,
you've been making some good ones.
Yeah, really good. I think they're good.
Yeah.
But, this
better than ones you've been making for a while.
Yeah, for sure. In this beat in particular, I found a kind of an old dub reggae sample.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of you.
Yeah.
And then but it ended up coming out so different. So you almost can't even tell that it's a reggae sample the way it's chopped up and added some deep 808s.
I definitely heard it straight off, but most people may not.
Yeah, so I love it, and I just want to hear you freestyle on it.
It might be bad, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, get in the zone, man.
I'm gonna get in the zone.
Should we dim the lights or something?
Yeah. Cut the lights. Turn on my headphones. Maybe if you turn on my headphones, it would help. Woo. Yeah. Can you turn the headphones up? Yeah. What? Yeah. I'm
I'm up in the spot doing this thing. I mean, these things make my ears ring. This beam beaming to different dimensions, different galaxies. And I've been breathing easy cause I'm sleeping at night. It's breezy, hitting up my dial. See me on the line, see me all the time. Seeing what I do, I stay on my grind. Infatuous, infatuated with the beat. I stay intricate with it, man. I'm in the cemetery digging up bodies, leaving people to oddities. And I talk often about these things that I'm talking about. It's not a problem unless you wanna be. I mean, I'm on a beat, physically, verbally, I'm ripping it. I stay up on the track like I'm gonna deliver it. I keep it straight, yeah, keep it constrained like with this.
That's all I got, man. I ran out of gas. Woo! Thanks for listening to the Gluecast. Thanks for making the beat. Can we plug the SoundCloud?
SoundCloud, Beats by Bunk on SoundCloud.
Beats by Bunk. On
And also
SoundCloud.
Dom Lacola
Yeah.
on SoundCloud.
You guys want to hear my, well, no. We'll leave that for later.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, y'all. We love you. And a happy new year.
Okay.